strutting for one band, then the other band, then this and that.
I have no freaking idea what is going on here.
It doesn't work like this. It's like you go to the gym and then for 6 months you don't go, and then you try to lift the same weight. It just doesn't work.
Did you get a new hair color?
There's a point where you really have to ask yourself, okay, who are we right now? And does it make sense to do some stuff because we did it before?
What is going on? I see that there's a picture of you behind it.
Or like online dating, when you're like, oh, that person looks great on pictures and I have a good chat, and then you meet the person and there's absolutely no connection.
Hello, you metal pilgrims, and welcome on this very special interview episode, because today, for the, I don't know, fourth time on the show, I think, I have nobody else but Melissa Bonny, this time of Ad Infinitum here. Melissa, so great to see you, as always. How are you?
Nice to see you too. I'm great. How are you?
Good. Well, you know, given the circumstances, as good as I can be here, of course, but it's great to see you. It's great to talk. Did you get a new hair color?
Yeah, I did.
I love it.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's awesome. Where are you at right now?
I'm home.
Oh.
Finally, after all the travels of the festival season, which was great, by the way, but it's just always like, all over the place with all the troubles with the planes being delayed and canceled. So now I'm home and I'm very happy to have a few weeks of this.
That's awesome. That's all. It looks like it's wonderful weather, so
Yes.
you can't complain, right?
No.
All right, Melissa, straight to the point. The biggest news about Ad Infinitum and about your world, the world of Melissa Bonny these days, of course, is the release of the upcoming release. It's going to be out in a month and a half-ish, I think.
Exactly. 11th of October.
Yeah, 11th of October, the new studio album by Ad Infinitum, Abyss, via Napalm Records, as always. So, first of all, congrats on finishing the work on it. I assume it's not hard with all the touring that you've got to do. But can you tell us a little bit more about the creative process behind it? About how did it all come together to this one piece we'll be able to hear in a month and a half?
So this time again, we decided that we would do some songwriting retreats.
Mm-hmm.
We gathered 2 times, once in I think it was early December 2023, and the second time in I think February this year, end of January, February, I think. And what we love to do is just be the 4 of us together in a room and start to exchange ideas and visions, and also picture the album, how we want it to sound like, and listen to some music and just start writing all together. We also had already had an idea of like how we wanted it to sound, and also we had some demos ready, but we really love to start some stuff from scratch when we're all together in the same room. So that's what we did. Mm-hmm. And the particularity in this case is that we already have this album and the next 2 in mind, because we want to, we've done the chapters 1, 2, and 3, and we wanted to break away from the chapters, but still offer something more than one album. So we already had a whole vision for the next 3 albums, and knowing exactly what the overall theme of the album would be.
Well, I love it. I love Ad Infinitum's productivity overall, and the whole idea that you're doing it. You're a very modern band, of course, and the sound of the album, shows this. But you're kind of doing this in the old school rock and roll way, closing yourself together in one room and, and thinking about conceptuality of it, and, trying to think ahead. I love it. I think it's really great.
Yeah, I mean, this is, we also work remotely very often, but there's such a good connection between the 4 of us that when we are in the same room, we lift each other up, and someone has an idea and then the other one picks it up and is like, yeah, and then we can do this, and then it's just like an exchange of creativity, which is like, I'm super grateful for it, because this is the first time in my life I experienced it with a band.
Well, I know Ad Infinitum since pretty much its beginning. Like, I've been following you guys since, I think the first interview we had is when you just had your first album or something like this. Like, so it's been some time, and I feel like this record, although very experimental, on one hand, at the same time, I'd like to say that it is a bit more mature, in my opinion, than anything Ad Infinitum has done before. So, first of all, do you agree with this? And secondly, do you feel like you've kind of found your sound that you're going to be pursuing with it at this point?
Yeah, I think that's maybe the maturity of the sound comes from the fact that this time we actually, one big point that we had in mind since the beginning is that we would not add any orchestrations or symphonic stuff if it was not absolutely necessary. And it turned out that both, the way we evolved as musicians and as people didn't call for much of it. We have, of course, some piano and keys here and there, but mostly we have some more modern sounds that represents us better, like right now. I'm not saying that the first record, which is a lot more symphonic, doesn't represent us at all, but it's more like, you evolve as a person, your tastes evolve, your skills evolve, and then there's a point where you really have to ask yourself, okay, who are we right now? And does it make sense to do some stuff because we did it before?
Well, obviously I was able to listen to the album a little bit earlier than most mortal human beings. And as I said, to me, it's on the one hand, the most mature album, but on the other hand, it actually is the album which I personally enjoyed the most out of Ad Infinitum, because I feel like on this album, you are not really trying to prove anything to anyone. You're not really trying to, fight for your spot in the heavy metal landscape overall. You had any new band has to do that always. No matter what anyone says, when a new band comes on the landscape and they release their first debut album, they have to fight for attention, and that's okay. That's absolutely normal. This one, you don't really. And I feel like it feels like you are doing whatever you want, and and it's great. Yeah,
I think you described it perfectly. We had, for the first 3 records, we started a certain way with a certain sound. And then we sort of, we knew that some people had expectations and that maybe we should do this and maybe we should do that. And some people do this, maybe we should do that. This time we really went only with what we wanted to do. And also, we knew that some people would not like it at all. We knew that some people would not think it's metal. But truly, that's what we enjoy so much, creating and playing on stage, that it just makes sense. And I feel like it's just it would be an advice that I would give to any band who is trying to find their sound, like to just leave out all the outside expectations and just think, gather yourself and think, okay, what do we want to play on stage, and what do we want to create and to hear? And okay, maybe this song, for example, tomorrow, at the time we record this, tomorrow we will release Surrender, which is a song that when we created it, we thought there's a lot of people who are going to be pissed off, but we love it so much that it doesn't matter.
I think that's the problem when with any band reaching a certain status, gaining a certain fan base already, and what is most importantly started being labeled as a certain particular subgenre of metal. Like the moment you receive a label of you are a symphonic metal band, that's it. You either have to break it right away by releasing something new, or you kind of have to adhere to it and go with the flow with it and get stuck in that tunnel of symphonic metal kind of forever. And I think it's risky what you guys did, but I really respect it and I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah. But I think another good example is Within Temptation, when you look at their first album versus what they're doing now, and they made it so well.
Absolutely. Any particular lyrical themes which you wanted to kind of portray and underline on this record?
Yeah, this album is... it's, as opposition to the first 3 records, this one is a lot more personal, with themes that I felt like inspired me in this moment in terms of I needed to get things out. And we as a band wanted to talk about those things as well. And we wanted to make a record. And like I said, 3 records connected, which have an evolution lyrically and also musically. And this particular record is, Abyss. It's the abyss of the mind, of the soul, of these places where you go when you have self-doubt or second guess or trauma, or some darker places. And when I wrote lyrics for the first 3 chapters, I always had to stay connected to the story it was based on.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I was able to still, put some personal experience and feelings into it, it still had to be within the range of what we were talking about. And in this particular album, we all wrote with in mind that this album would be about, these feelings, these demons that a lot of people experience and can relate to. And the next one would be in between, where you sort of realize that this is not the end destination, and you have some kind of rebellion within yourself, and also realization that you can turn things around. And the third record will be, when you are past these things and you've healed and you find your happy place, and you build a thick skin. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, both lyrically and musically, there's an evolution between those 3 albums, and Abyss is the sad one.
Tell me a little bit more, please, about the artwork. First of all, what is going on? I see that there's a picture of you behind it, but is it you? No, it's not even you. Okay, so tell us what is going on there. How much AI is there, and what just overall the concept?
No, there's no AI.
No AI. Okay, perfect.
It's so funny because I've been asked exactly the same question 2 days ago.
Sorry about that.
It's not me on the artwork. So Stefan Heilemann had a photo shoot with a model, mm-hmm. and we told him, okay, we want that kind of vibe, blah blah blah, etc. And he took a lot of pictures, and then he created all the artworks for the records, for the singles, for the mm-hmm. booklet. And so there's one lady who is everywhere in our booklet and all the artworks.
Okay.
And well, we had the choice between several artworks, and this one is more abstract and a little bit disturbing to the eye. If you're looking at it and you're like, what is it? And it's a bit disturbing, but also there's something beautiful about it. And I think that's, it kind of represents very much what we've written as
I think
music.
It fits the music quite well. That's one thing that I thought to myself, like, I have no freaking idea what is going on here and what the guys wanted to say by it, but it fits the music really well.
It does.
Melissa, I've seen you briefly at Rock Imperium Festival just a couple of months ago. Unfortunately, neither of us had time for a proper chat. Just gave each other a hug and that's it. But one thing I was thinking about, like when preparing for the interview, is how is it going for you juggling so many projects at the same time? Are you staying sane overall or not?
No. No, it's I try to balance things. Sometimes it's difficult, to be honest. Especially like I was describing, sometimes there's periods where things fit all together. Like, for example, we were lucky enough to I was touring with Kamelot, and I could bring my band with, if I may say, in America, and then in October all over Europe. And that's perfect because it's like it gathers all the projects together. Yeah. But for example, this summer with the festival, it was a little bit crazy with, traveling for one band, then the other band, then this and that. It was it's sometimes it's a bit much, but we make it work.
Yeah, because
always once you're doing the thing, it's always rewarding. The difficult part is really like, I have to go to the airport and then take a plane, and the plane is delayed, and then the next one I will not catch it, and blah blah. But once you're there, once you're on stage, it's just everything is gone. It's fine.
It sounds like so much, it's so hectic, but so much fun. Because I saw it at Rock Imperium, and I was like, wait, is Ad Infinitum performing? I was like, no. Is it for like which band? And I was like, oh, Kamelot, right, Kamelot. That's awesome. So tell us about this tour with Kamelot, Frozen Crown, and Blackbriar, upcoming October. How many cities are you going to visit?
So I don't remember how many shows we played.
I'll tell you, it's a lot. It's fucking a lot.
I think 17, something like this.
Yes, it's like yeah. And Charlotte Wessels is going to join you on a couple of dates as well.
Yeah, so the very first show has been added afterwards, and Charlotte is joining with her band, and it's super cool. And it's the day we release our album, so it's gonna be a big party.
Yeah.
And then Blackbriar and Frozen Crown join us, and we continue the tour for 3 weeks, and it's gonna be pretty cool because, with this brand new album out on the first day of the tour, we will have plenty of new songs to play.
So you are going to be one of those bands that is really going out to promote a new album. You're not going to stick with the material that you already have. Obviously, you're going to include, 50-50 at least, but you are set to promote this album on the road heavily once again, like it has been done by in a non, because the reason I'm asking this, like this was very popular in the 70s, 80s, and even throughout the 90s. But in the past couple of decades, most bands are trying to play it safe and perform only 2, maybe sometimes 3 songs from the new record, and then play everything else that people already know, so that the show is actually, the feedback. What are you guys gonna do?
Well, we will for sure play some singles that people know. But like I was saying before, this feels really true to who we are right now, and it really feels good to play those new songs. So of course there's going to be the usual songs that we've been playing for most of our shows, like Unstoppable, Upside Down, and the party songs. But there's always, I don't remember how many singles we have, but there's always some album tracks. And when it comes to album tracks, we will prioritize the new record, definitely.
Melissa, what has changed in the last couple of years when it comes to your vocal techniques and you taking care of your voice? Because I remember the first time we spoke, you told me a couple of routines that you have. Has it evolved since then? Have you changed overall the way you care for it, or not really?
I think I have changed the way I take care of my voice, especially on tour. I'm more careful with proper warm up, with the little rituals that I do on tour to feel good, to feel like I take care of my voice. At home, I also try to keep it in shape more religiously, because sometimes it's easy to be like, oh, I don't have a tour right now, so I don't, it doesn't work like this. It's like you go to the gym and then for 6 months you don't go, and then you try to lift the same weight. It just doesn't work.
I'm super guilty of this. Like every like May, I go like, I'm getting a gym membership again. I'm going to the gym, and so I look good for the summer, and then no, it doesn't work.
Right? No, there's no secret. It has to be consistent, and I usually love to try new techniques all the time. Like, for example, there's this artist is releasing a new album, and there's this vocal technique that is like picking my attention, and I train it, and then I'm like, oh, I like this as well, and I'm training a new technique, and I feel like we always have room for learning and for improving, and that's what also makes the evolution between albums for each musician, not only for vocals.
Continuing this whole conversation of having many projects and stuff like that, if there will be one band that, because you are known for having quite a lot of cameos and features in a lot of other projects, even not the ones I'm not even talking about the ones you are part of. I'm talking about something else now. But if there will be one band which you would love to do a feature with, who would that be?
Oh. Okay, it's funny because you asked me this question today, it's going to be a different answer than in 2 months or 6 months, whatever.
Let's do it today.
Because I listen to so much music that I fall in love with bands all the time. But right now, I have 2 bands in mind, because one of them I've seen live, and I've been playing them on repeat in my car, and the other one is because I just discovered, when we were writing the new album, I just discovered them. So the band I've seen live is Bring Me the Horizon, which I'm I really love their songwriting, their energy. I've seen their show at Grass Pop, and I was just like blown away by their not only their show, but also their energy and the positivity that I don't know. I don't know them personally, but I felt like it was a very positive attitude on stage and very grateful. And I just like I have a lot of respect for them. And then the second one, which I've discovered when we were writing the album, is Bad Omens. I love the way they construct their songs and the dynamics between with both the instruments and the vocals. And I think if you listen to their latest album and our latest album back to back, you can see that there's a bit of an inspiration in terms of, at least personally, in terms of vocals, vocal dynamics, using a little bit more a softer voice. I used to think, oh, I have to go full power and be so powerful, and because it's metal. And I really fell in love with the way Noah does the some vocal effects, and also some like the way he tells the story. And as a band, I completely love what they're doing now, and their latest album is one of my most listened album this year. So yeah, those two bands I would love to collaborate with, but probably a lot more. But I don't know. It's just the first.
At least right now, those are the two. That's
right now, and then.
You said something really cool. You said something about watching Bring Me the Horizon and fall in love with their music because of how energetic, because of their performance on stage. And I found like myself very much connected to this whole phrase, because there's so many bands out there whom I, when I listen to on my YouTube Music or Spotify or whatever it is, amidst all the other ones, they might not really, grab my attention right away. But the moment I see, I see the band live on stage, the interaction with them, that's when I fall in love with it. So do you personally believe that you can be a diehard fan of a band you've never seen live? Do you think it is possible?
I think you can, but to a certain extent. I think that seeing the band live really solidifies this love you have for the music. That's also why, when our Ad Infinitum started during the pandemic, we felt like, okay, we have the attention of some people now and they love our music, but the connection will really seal once we get to tour and to meet them, because it's just such a different experience when everybody is in the same room and exchanging the energy, and everybody's sweating and happy, and there's just a common memory that's been created in the moment.
Yeah, it's like chatting online and then actually meeting your boyfriend or girlfriend in real person. I feel like it's exactly the same thing.
Oh yeah, or like online dating, when you're like, oh, that person looks great on pictures, and I have a good chat, and then you meet the person and there's absolutely no connection.
Yeah, exactly. Or quite the opposite. Well, on this cheerful note, I hope that you have many, many more connections with your amazing fans, both with Ad Infinitum and with all the other projects in the coming month and years. And I honestly so hope that I'll be able to catch you live once again very, very soon. And hopefully you guys will be able to come to Ukraine one day soon, very soon.
I hope so too. Yeah. And thank you for having me. It's always nice to talk to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Any last message for the fans, old and new?
Yeah, I hope you guys will love the new album as much as we love creating it. And we'll see you on tour.
Absolutely. This was Melissa Bonny of Ad Infinitum, and Abyss is out on October 11th via Napalm Records. Make sure to check it out. It's an absolutely new chapter for the band, and I'm sure that, if you are a fan of Ad Infinitum, and if this is the first time you're listening to it, you will absolutely love it. Melissa, thank you so much for joining me. Keep rocking.
Thank you.